Welcome to installment 3 of the Charge Attack podcast. I'm here with Luke.
Hi guys.
And I am Ben. So thankfully this week there hasn't been as much news, so it means that the podcast will not be 2 hours long, but it does mean that
Thank you for bearing with.
We have got a few decent things just to catch up on. So first of all, this week I've been playing through the new Call of Duty Zombies map, which is called Ancient Evil. So it's got a lot of Greek themes to it, sort of like gods as well. It's pretty good. There's some positives and some negatives to take away from it. Positives being it's another new map. All the communities out there finding little Easter eggs, little extras and bonuses, which are real good fun. You've played Black Ops 3, haven't you? And you did you do any of the Easter eggs in the older maps?
The only one I ever tried was on the Shangri-La map back on the older...
Black Ops 2?
I think that was Black Ops 2, yeah.
Black Ops 1 that
it might have been.
Was.
And I did not go very far. It was too difficult, too many zombies. It ticked me off before I got too far into it. So.
Yeah,
and you need like 4 people, so...
Yeah, so just in case you are somebody that's by chance played any of the Zombies games in the past, or are interested in looking into some of the more recent ones, is they have changed it up quite a bit from there. So a lot of the Easter eggs and the essentially it's like the campaign of the Zombies maps, it's all sort of changed a little bit, so it's more user friendly. So you can do it as solo player, which is quite fun. But in Black Ops 4 they've made it so much faster and so much harder as well. So it does take a lot of practice and getting used to. The only problem I do have with these sorts of things is Activision are the top dog. They have the most money in the games industry. It's unreal. And they somehow manage to make these games and release them with like tiny little bugs which really do get like a little bit frustrating. So say for example in this new Ancient Evil map, what happens is you can create these fists and like power them up and make them stronger. We won't go into too much details because obviously spoilers and those sorts of things, but like something as simple as like you can be creating these fists and and there's 4 of them to make, but you can only hold one at a time, which is fine. But sometimes, and this is what I mean, literally sometimes you can't actually deposit the fist back down, put it back down basically, so then you could pick up a new one and start on something new. And the only reason I bring this up is because Activision, like I said, they have so much money. They've laid off a load of staff. This is just, people know about this sort of stuff, and they're taking home more and more money every year. And then like simple little things like this in their biggest franchise game just seems to slip through the net like so much. There's been so many little glitches with their games, with a lot of their zombies as well. Like, so one of their first maps is called 9, and essentially in it, during the Easter egg, is it takes you about 2 hours to get to this point, or an hour and a half if you're particularly good, where you have to fight in a room full of zombies, and basically hold them off as long as until the end of the wave. And then what happens is once you've killed them all, is then basically the waters rise in this little sewage way, and there's a key you can pick up. Now, if there's 3 of you in a party, you can't pick up the key. And you're stuck in this limbo state where no zombies will spawn because you're supposed to be able to pick up this key. However, because you can't pick up the key, you can't do anything. So you just have to quit the game. And this is like quite an important thing where like this brand name of Call of Duty is so high and so well loved by lots and lots of people. And don't get me wrong, like they are very good at what they do. They're such good feeling games, but like something small like that,
how does that make it past like basic testing?
Yeah, it's just and it's just sort of like like I was saying, that this is on the map 9. This map got released when the game got released. This is back in October,
and still hasn't been patched.
So it's one of those things like the new Zombies map. If you do play the Zombies and if you don't, if you try and you're interested, the new content they're bringing out is great. It's brilliant. However, there are still a lot of issues and bugs that you still come across, and it'll seriously gripe you down. The other game I have been playing this week as well is Kingdom Hearts 3. So I finally finished it. Without going into spoilers or anything like that, it's a good game. It's if you've been playing the series up until now, then chances are you will have already played this game and whatnot, and you've probably completed this and have your own thoughts and feelings on it. If you are someone that is new to the series or hasn't played this sort of game, a word of warning: it does get confusing. It is so convoluted and so confusing, and this is. If you're somebody that's wants to get into it, and like, because all of the games are now available, or all of the story is now available on PlayStation. So it's essentially across 3 different games. You've got Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Kingdom Hearts 2.5, and Kingdom Hearts 2.8. If you own all 3 of those games, you can essentially learn the story up until the point of Kingdom Hearts 3. And it will build up so many questions across the whole way, which is really good and really interesting. Like Square Enix and a lot of Japanese games, they know how to make incredible stories. But what Kingdom Hearts 3 does, which I'm not a big fan of after playing it, is that essentially is you go into it with about 100 questions that you need answering, and you will come out at the end with about 200 questions. So it's not answering anywhere near as many questions as it's creating. And those are like some of the big major games I've been playing this week. And it's just a quick bit of feedback on a personal level about it. Because some of these are 2 insanely big games that have been built up. And just like simple little things like that, it's just something that seems to like be sort of the norm. A lot of people nowadays, when it comes to a lot of video games, they seem to just sort of ignore some of the bad aspects of games, whereas you should really bring them to light, because sometimes it's sort of non-excusable.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, these titles deserve all the praise they get in a lot of senses, but it's not.
No game is perfect.
Exactly, but you have to work towards these things. In news, though, however, going off of my personal gaming habits, Pokemon Go. So, Luke, how much do you play Pokemon Go?
Daily.
Yeah, there's nothing.
No shame.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of players out there that still play it. It was a massive phenomenon when it first got released. I'm sure everybody can remember.
I knew people who I never even spoke to a Pokemon were playing it, and I'm just like, why? What have you got into? And they were absolutely hell-bent on it. They were running around like, oh, there's a so-and-so down there, like they knew what it was. Yeah. and then as soon as it sort of got a little bit more released, they all just dropped like hot potatoes.
Yeah, it's if you are one of those people that played this back along, maybe it didn't pique your interest too much, and you went along with it while everybody else was, and it was a good bit of fun, then you might be surprised to know that it is still going. Basically, this week, Pokemon Go has basically announced that since it first launched, they have now reached 2.5 billion in sales of basically microtransactions for the game, which is pretty good. I mean, the last I heard of it is they had an average user base of probably around about 20 million users, which is still it's nothing to be snuffed at, sort of thing. And I mean, it is a free game, which again is absolutely perfect. So you do feel like more inclined to spend money on it. So if you play it daily, how much do you normally spend on the game?
When it first came out, I did spend a little bit more from time to time. Maybe just like the smaller when you were buying the coins, because the original coin system was crap.
Yeah.
So you had to almost, unless you were literally playing it 24/7. Recently though, I may buy like the small 100 coin pack on the community days.
Yeah.
Like the boxes, if I've not managed to save enough between each community day. But aside from that, no, nowadays you can play the game without paying to play.
Yes.
So, 8 80p a month, maybe.
80 I mean,
Yeah.
80p a month isn't too bad. Like a
No.
couple of 100 coins. So
For what I get out of it, I can justify that in my own head.
yeah, the game is still relatively generous towards you. So you can essentially what you can do is you can place your Pokemon in a gym. And then depending on the length of time it stays in that gym before somebody else comes along and knocks it out, it can reward you up to 50 coins per day. And bearing in mind that 100 coins for us in the UK is 79p. It's not too bad sort of thing. Like, and if you're one of those people where you don't play it a lot every day, is you just sort of play here, there, and everywhere, you can actually get around basically putting Pokemon in gyms, claiming the money, and then when you actually want to buy something or something pops up that you want to spend your money on, you can then afford it. So they're not really, weirdly, for considering most freemium products, they don't seem to be forcing this monetary spend down your throat too much. So like they've got the 2.5 billion from obviously people spending money, but that could have been a whole lot higher. But obviously, depending on how much it might have affected the user base in itself.
It's dependent on the player. I mean, depending on what they need, if they need more passes, more incubators and things like that, they're going to have to buy more. Whereas maybe the not so more intensive players they'll just grind along slowly as opposed to paying to get things done quicker. They don't need all the lures every day. They don't need incense every time they go out. They can just wait until one comes up, or if they get them from like a reward box or something, or a level up. The only item I can think of in the game that you can only buy is the new team medallion. Yeah. So everything else you can either unlock it when you level up. You might be rewarded them at certain levels, or you get them in boxes if you're buying a box of items, which is a much better way of doing so. Yeah. Everything else, apart from like the lure modules and the incense and lucky eggs, pretty common to come by. Star pieces, I don't think you can actually buy those though, can you?
I think the star pieces are normally available in like the community boxes, boxes.
There's very few things that can only be bought.
Yeah, which is quite good of them in a sense. Like Niantic have done interesting things, is what I would go with to Pokemon. In bringing it into augmented reality and whatnot, and I think for the most part it's all positive. There are definitely different ways that my personal approach to it would be. Like, everything is now reliant on raids. So obviously, if you're somebody that isn't particularly knowledgeable on Pokemon Go, the raid system is essentially a load of people have to meet at certain locations at a certain time, and they all work together to take down what's called a raid boss. You get one free pass a day. Okay, and then you can buy extras after that, which is probably, out of that 2.5 billion, is probably where most people,
I would say, yes,
get
the amount of people, like the people who do these raids on a frequent basis, who just go around from raid to raid. They must be getting their passes from somewhere. You can only save up so many from certain rewards and things.
I mean, each extra raid pass costs 100 coins. So even if every single day you are putting,
that's 80p.
You're still not able to get it. And all the legendaries that you can achieve from the game, this is excluding mythicals, they're all achieved via raids, and they haven't changed up the formula too much about that. Like, everything is just done through raids. So it is encouraging raids so much that must be pretty much where I would probably go as to say at least half of that 2.5 billion is just from raid passes. Because when you're out of a day and you do, like, lots of people will do it and they'll happily spend their whole day, which is absolutely great, just socialising with other Pokemon Go players, going out into their city centres and just walking from raid to raid to raid. And you could easily do, in a day, if you're having a full day out, probably 10 or 12 raids.
If you want
and
to,
just bearing in mind, if you've only got one free pass, that's 11 raid passes. Yeah. So that's an extra 1,100 coins, which is quite easily £10 pretty much.
Yeah.
So they've done really well, and I do feel as though it is... Pokemon Go almost does deserve sort of that amount of money, where they haven't been too greedy with it.
No, they could be selling it for a lot more.
Yeah, they're offering basically a good ratio as to how many coins you get a day.
Yeah.
Compared to how much you want to spend playing the game per day.
Yeah, 2 days of, if you say you got 50 coins each day, that's an item, which is fair. If you need it in an emergency, like you run out of passes, you need to do a raid with your mates, then it's not going to break your bank to do it.
Yeah. So even if you only went out once a week, if over all the 6 days you saved up all the coins you could get each day, that's still an extra free raid passes. So, but and it seems to be working. Like, there's still lots of people playing it. There's still lots of money going into the game. I would say it's probably a little bit, especially if you're a very new player and you have never played Pokemon before, it's probably a little bit confusing going into the game a little bit.
It's a bit daunting now with 4 generations of Pokemon now available.
Yeah, it is getting a little bit ridiculous.
Everyone knows Gen 1, but even we get a little bit lost on Gen 4 sometimes.
Yeah, Gen 4, when you hear about Bear Me,
who's Burmy?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We had this conversation like 12 hours ago. He's like, oh, Burmy's not in the new bug event. I was like, what's Burmy? Do you mean Bergmite?
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
It just doesn't. It's just one of those things. And the other Pokemon Go news, which is actually fairly recent, is they've announced Lucky Friends as well. Explain.
No one knows a lot about it at the moment.
Good explanation.
It's Niantic hasn't released anything official. It's people are speculating that it's going to be like the next sort of level in the friendship, or some form of extra bonus or something that you might have more chance of getting a lucky Pokemon with a lucky friend on a certain trade. But they haven't released anything official on what exactly it's going to involve, when it's coming, or anything like that. So it's one to keep an eye out for, at least. Yeah,
it's like I said, because it's constantly updating, and all the updates are for free. It'll be interesting to see what they could do with it. It sounds sort of important, and I mean, we're still quite a ways away. So basically, Niantic do 2 big updates a year, sort of in the summer and in the winter, where they release a new generation of Pokemon, or they add something like the raid system or the battle system and things like that. We're a little bit too early on for it to be sort of like a massive event, but it could be. It could probably be a nice additive that'll help draw more players back. And if you do want to be lucky friends with a couple of people and it helps benefit you, all the more for it, really.
Yep.
Next on our agenda, Borderlands 3. Literally 5 minutes after finishing the last podcast, got announced.
They knew.
It's always the same though, isn't it? Thankfully, this podcast won't be out as late as the last one. Borderlands 3. It's been announced.
I'm excited.
It's been given a date as well. So that was, I believe, given a date yesterday for us, which was the 3rd of April. And from the trailers,
1 billion guns. That's all I'm focusing on, is 1 billion guns.
See, that's weird. That is that puts me off it. Like,
I cannot comprehend, how am I going to pick which one I want to use? But I can't wait to see what they've done. I can't imagine how many hours this took and how many people they had designing a gun to submit an idea. Because not 10 people can't come up with 1 million gun designs.
You know that it's not like it will be along the lines of, there's probably about 1,000 different variations of guns, look-wise and style-wise, with obviously the few unique ones. And then what it'll be different perks and different additives, so they count as different guns because they're not the same.
That's what you want, though, isn't it? The last thing you want is racking up the team of your mates and you all pull out the same gun.
Yeah, but what's the chance of you getting the same gun if there's 1 billion
Exactly,
guns?
that's the thing. That's the thing. With all these other games, like any other shooter-looter, you get the top gun and everyone then uses it. So it's a bit like, nah. With this, everyone's going to be having a different gun. Everyone's going to think, oh, I want that. That looks really cool.
You're never going to get it, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does add a uniqueness to it, doesn't it?
It'll give your characters, a little bit more... Well, your characters are pretty much... They are set to be who they are. It's not very much an RPG element.
Yeah.
But it will give your characters a little bit of uniqueness to everyone else, which I like the idea of.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the trailer already, then we'll link it down in the description below. But just going off of what we've seen through the trailer, we'll just have a quick talk through now. it looks amazing.
It's everything that Borderlands has ever delivered and so much more.
Yeah,
Which what a sequel needs to be.
The cell shading aesthetic look and feel, they've followed through with it, which is pretty much a must have sort of thing.
That is their key unique style now. I know a lot of other games have tried it and things like that, but when you see that, you instantly straight to Borderlands.
Yeah, the comedy elements all there. The baddies, the goodies, like it's showing a couple of different and new characters now, which look really cool. And they've got some unique sort of powers, which, as always, is something to look forward to in the near future. Hopefully, they don't show too much before the game comes out.
I've seen enough now to know that I want it, so I'm okay now just to wait till the game comes out.
Yeah, this like realistically, it is one of those questions that argue sort of thing, because they haven't gone for the ultra realistic graphics, and they've never been known to. They just obviously create this content, which is essentially, it probably works a little bit more efficiently for them, where they don't have to worry too much about like the quality and whatnot, but it still looks really good. There's some old characters that are back, lots of new characters as well, which is obviously what you want from a sequel. And everything is just looking. It's nice to see a trailer where you just look at it and you're just sort of like, this looks awesome. I mean, Borderlands 3 is obviously, people have known that it's coming for a while, but now that we're getting the official footage and
they did a lot of teasers and things.
Yeah,
they were really like
little snippets.
They really were toying with us for a long time. Another interesting thing I heard from the Tales of the Borderland game, they've actually brought those characters into this. To what extent we don't know yet, but that's a nice thing to see from a game that's sort of slightly set outside of the main universe that we've seen almost. See them brought in, so it's interesting to see how they bring those characters over. Yeah,
and then and like we were saying, all of your favorite Claptrap or CL4P is back. He's
spirit animal.
He is he is something else. You've got, when they're talking about the guns as usual, they're bigging it up. Their main sell point, one of their main sell points that they're leaving on, is saying that there's a billion guns and whatnot, and then they show, there's no word of a lie, if you haven't seen this yet, they show you a gun with legs that's just running along.
What more do you need? I was blown away when you reload the gun by literally throwing it as a bomb and just picking out a new one. For me, that was like the pinnacle of gun usage, and then they go and do this.
They've got something special there, a lovely recipe, and it's got this perfect mix of comedy element as well as seriousness as well as badassery, and that's what they're known for, and they've picked an amazing soundtrack for the background of it as well. They've got a little saxophone solo in there as well.
Brick saxophone solo or something.
Just to give you a little bit of an extra smile. But they don't take any of it too far, which is absolutely perfect. They've just got this perfect blend of just showing you just the right amount of combat, just the right amount of characters, just the right amount that you just need, so that every single part of you just goes, that is I want it. That is the next best thing. And they have given a release date as well now. So the release date for it is the 13th of September this year, which is not too far away actually. So it's good. No. It's a good time to get hyped up about it. A lot of games, especially Square Enix, are guilty for this. They announce games very, very, very early, and then you blimmin' don't hear anything from them for multiple years, and you start getting a little bit frustrated.
You just forget almost at some point.
And then when they re-announce it, and you're like, oh yeah, I thought they were doing that sort of thing. So it is coming on the 13th of September. And there's a couple of weird things that actually go off on this, because it's actually going to be a Epic Store exclusive for 6 months. So if you aren't aware, Epic Store is basically now a rival to Steam on buying games and playing games on your PC. So it's their own version of Console Wars, but on a PC is one way to put it. A lot of people are a little bit unhappy about this, because Epic Game Store doesn't seem to be as user-friendly, I'm going to say, is the best way to put it. There's a lot of things that you can't do on an Epic Game Store that you can do on Steam Store, and people don't, and quite rightly so, people don't like the idea that they're being told, if you want to play this game, you have to play it through this store. It's just you start creating problems, especially because Steam has been around for so long. Everyone's got so accustomed to it. They've got all of their games there. If every time they're like, oh, I fancy switching games now, I have to load up a completely different thing. It's just it starts causing problems and it starts upsetting people.
People get stuck in their ways. They don't like change, so they need to be risking not alienating half their fan base.
Yeah, it's one of those strange ones because obviously people have been unhappy with like the Epic Game Store and everything. Like the new Metro was so late on being changed over to going to be an Epic Store exclusive. Okay, that on all the boxes, or a lot of the deluxe boxes, I believe it was, for Metro Exodus, is they actually had to put a sticker over where it showed the Steam store to say Epic Store. So it's been one of those things where it's been up and coming, and people are getting more and more annoyed with it at the moment. So how much did Epic Store have to pay for Borderlands to be an exclusive with them for the first 6 months? Must be a shed ton of money. Because
that's when people are buying it, isn't it?
Because obviously now it's going to upset sales for Borderlands 3 because people are going to like outrightly be like, no, I'm not buying in the Epic Game Store. So it is going to be like sort of problematic.
Could it be like a marketing strategy? Like we'll get the die-hard fans in the first 6 months, and then we'll have a second-in wave of everyone else.
Yeah, that's probably a really good way to look at it.
They might line it up with them, maybe, so they know they're doing a season pass. So they might line it up with a new DLC content. So
yeah,
it could be a way of just stretching it out.
Yeah,
weird way of doing it. I don't know why you'd wanna sort of do that.
Yeah, I mean, if they've said 6 months down the line it's going to be coming to Steam, chances are Steam will do a really good deal on it when it eventually does come. Anyway, I mean, for me, there's enough good games out there at the moment that I could probably wait the extra 6 months. I'm not a big Steam user or PC gaming user.
No,
but
my PC won't be able to play this as well as I want it to.
Yeah, so we'll probably just stick to consoles ourselves. But it's one of those things where it's food for thought on how this is how this will affect it. Because essentially, if the sales aren't big enough when it goes to the Epic Game Store, then obviously the owners of Borderlands, well, it might serve as a lesson for everybody else as well. But other people essentially then won't go, all right, okay, we'll probably stick to opening it up to both of them rather than just one. I mean, I haven't heard of any Steam exclusives yet. I mean, obviously there are a lot of games that aren't available on Epic Store that are available on Steam, but like in the up and coming sort of more recent releases, I haven't heard of any.
Yeah, you get like there's games that get the green light on Steam that wouldn't get green light anywhere else, but doesn't mean they're an exclusive. It just means they managed to get in somewhere.
Yeah, which is absolutely perfect. So with Borderlands 3 coming out on the 13th of September, they have released a couple of collector's editions, as every major game does nowadays. Is that there has to be a normal edition, a deluxe edition, a collector's edition, and actually in this case is they do have an ultra diamond edition, which is just ludicrous. So it is called, and I'm quoting this now, this is the actual name, the Diamond Loot Chest Collector's Edition of Borderlands 3. Okay, so what I'm just going to read out here is just everything that this includes. Okay, so you get a pre-order bonus of a gold weapon skins pack, pretty standard. That'll come with all of them, all of the quality, no matter which ones you buy. This is if you pre-order, obviously. Then if you bought the deluxe version, you'll get the retro cosmetic pack, Neo cosmetic pack, Gearbox cosmetic pack, toy box weapon pack, and then an XP and loot drop boost mods, which we'll get back to in a minute. Okay. Then, obviously, if you get the next one up as well, you'll then get a season pass, which will include 4 campaign DLCs packs featuring new stories, missions, and challenges, Butt Stallion weapon skin, Butt Stallion weapon trinket, and Butt Stallion weapon mod. I believe that's all pronounced correctly. I do apologise.
I wonder what
not.
a butt stallion is. Must be a.
Yeah, I
think we'll find out when we get the game.
I was going to say, when you get the game, it will look ridiculous, no doubt. And then finally, this is just for the Diamond Loot package, which costs, by the way, £250. You get the Diamond Loot Chest replica. So obviously, it will probably come in a nice diamond chest. You'll also get Borderlands free figurines. You'll get 10 of them. A Sanctuary free snap model. No idea.
Nope.
Vault keychains times 4. I know what a keychain is. That's perfect. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
A cloth galaxy map. Those are always cool. It's
Yeah.
like cloth quality is. Ooh, it's nice.
Not all cloth.
Not all cloth.
But that's
We won't talk about touching cloth. And character art lithographs times 5 as well. So you get loads in it.
what do
but
you
it
use 4 keychains for? I have one set of keys in my life.
You can give one to your favourite vault. But if you had 3 other mates that you're playing this game with, you could all have.
So
you
I
had
have
a
to
team
buy
of
the
4.
expensive one so they can
They can
benefit
all-
from my
yeah.
keychains.
So
Absolutely not.
If there's 4 of you, only one of you needs to get the super ultra luxury
you can
edition.
shout the 10 statues. You can have like 3 each.
Right, well, that's 12, so that doesn't
Oh,
quite.
whatever.
Yeah, you know. So you know, but exactly, there is a lot of things that come with that, and it doesn't seem ridiculous. I haven't seen any images of the little models and figurines. I can't seem to find any imagery of it. So it'd be interesting to see what's going to come in the future with it. But just going back to one of the prior items that you do get with buying the deluxe edition and above, is you do get an XP loot drop boost mod.
That's concerning.
Yeah,
For a story game,
for a story game, and it's normally co-op, so
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
got
working
multiplayer,
against.
but- yeah.
I mean, there might be a new.
it's gonna have battle royale, isn't it?
It might have a battle royale. Like, obviously there might be these new inclusions and whatnot. However, it's always a little bit upsetting when a game puts in XP and loot boosters, because it just, I don't. For me, it just sort of screams to say, oh, you can pay extra to get through this game quicker.
Which makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
For
like,
game developers.
if you've got this option of having XP boosters and things like that, why would anybody want to buy them and basically spend less time playing the game? And these loot drop boosts, I'm guessing it makes the game easier. So in a certain sense, you could think of it that way, and then obviously certain people would like it. But you're creating this dilemma where like you're basically telling people to go, oh yeah, we haven't, it's not thought of correctly. It's like the XP. If the XP is so slow in the game that you want to buy a boost, or that you need to buy a boost.
I can't remember the leveling of the other ones. I don't remember.
You
it being
just
a
went
grind.
out. You just
had a
leveled up
tree,
over time.
but I don't remember it being a grind.
That's the thing. This is my point. Is if the XP gains is so slow that you feel like you need a boost, then you have basically, as a creator, you have made this game not balanced for the sake of hoping that people will then spend more and get a booster. So you've basically made an unbalanced game. However, if you haven't made the game like that, so you've made it so it's still fair, it's well balanced and whatnot, then why would you want to get the XP booster?
The only thing to think of it may be like a time thing. Like
but
you've got it for a short time. You may activate it, and that the next chest you open, you've got a slightly higher chance of getting a better gun, and it's like a one-time use thing.
Yeah.
And potentially several missions down the line, you might get a better gun.
But if that's the case, then why are you making it a deluxe bonus content package? Have it included. Reward those players. If I went out into the wild and I found the secret cave that nobody else found, and I found the super XP weapon of doom, then I should be rewarded for it. Somebody shouldn't be rewarded for spending extra money. This is where it becomes sort of like controversial. And it gets like a little bit weird. Obviously, because it's a co-op game, as far as we're aware so far, because it's just a co-op game, it means that everybody's going to be... You're not hindering anybody by selling these extra weapon packs.
You're just taking away from yourself.
You're just taking away from yourself, like you said. So it's so confusing and so bizarre, and I'm not a big fan of it. And at no point would I sit there and I pick that up. I mean, when I play through even Pokemon, the 3DS games, I turn off XP share on those because it makes the game way too easy. I don't want something that's so straightforward and easy. This may appeal to a 12-year-old.
Lazy
That's
gamers.
Fine. Lazy gamers. But But other than that, I can't see who else. I mean, there might be somebody out there, like, if you are somebody that works a lot and you don't get much time to play games and whatnot, and you want that XP booster, then maybe that will appeal to you. But then aren't you then taking away from the game experience itself, and you're not getting what you want out of the game?
If you need more XP, just kill bigger enemies.
Yeah, exactly.
With that game, there's no shortage of enemies to go around killing.
Yeah.
So
we won't talk about this for too long.
It might be such a tiny little boost that it doesn't make a difference to no one. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens when the game is released.
Exactly. So Borderlands 3 comes out on September 13th. Looks amazing. Looks hilarious, which is what I love of that game.
Yep.
Looks beautiful. Looks brilliant, but has a pay-to-win mechanic essentially. That's the only takeaway we're getting from it at the moment.
Leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth these days.
So now the next talking subject that we've got, unfortunately Luke will not have too much to say here, is we're talking about Final Fantasy VII, the remake. There has been a new director added. So Naoki Hamaguchi, which I do apologise if that is pronounced incorrectly, has now been added on to help co-direct Final Fantasy VII. So it is being worked on by Tetsuya Nomura at the moment, but now obviously there's two of them there to work and direct it. So Hamaguchi has worked on... He was a programmer on Final Fantasy 13. He then became a project leader on Mobius, which is obviously the mobile game, and now... He was working on Final Fantasy VII as a development leader, but then he's been now promoted to co-director, which is obviously really big news. So it means that you've now got two directors basically for one game, which is then putting more time and effort into it. It's good news.
Definitely good news. I mean, no one wants less people working on their game, especially if we've got these big name people doing good work, so it's only going to benefit the game.
It's going to be good to see. So Final Fantasy VII as the remake, as you probably aren't aware, it got announced quite a few years ago, but in the past 2 years there has been pretty much nothing but silence about it. A couple of little tidbits here and there, but other than that there's not been really too much about it. So now that basically Kingdom Hearts 3 is finished and done, which is what Tetsuya Nomura was working on beforehand, he is now more focusing on Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, but now that they've got another co-directors, it hopefully should move things a little bit faster and a little bit more swiftly. We might get some footage at E3 this year. That's what the big dream would be, because that game is... I'm holding out major hopes for it. And, like, Hamaguchi... I don't think he hasn't got a bad reputation at all. I wouldn't say he's got the most top-end stellar reputation and he's everything that I've always wanted in a director, but I have good hope for him. And from reading about his bio and what he used to do, and that he always wanted to work for Final Fantasy, he's obviously very infused and he's really interested in doing the job, so he must be over the moon that he's got this promotion.
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah. It's the dream job, isn't it, for someone in that position? Yeah.
So that's really big news for that. There's not too much to talk about it because that's pretty much all they've updated on recently. Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're keeping that as close to heart as possible. But I'm telling you, I reckon E3, 2 months time, 2 months to
it's gonna be big.
This day maybe is Square Enix space is something that we're going to have to watch.
It would be definitely the time to do it if they're going to. So hopefully they crack on and get something out for you so you can get a bit more information.
Yeah, that is literally, that's the dream. That's what we all want. One of the last couple of things to talk about is Halo Reach.
I'm excited again.
So in case you weren't aware, Halo Reach has been announced to the Master Chief Collection. Luke, talk us through it.
So the beta went live about the 2nd of April, a couple of days ago now, on PC. They've announced they're going to be slowly releasing it episode by episode on PC for everyone, and it's going to be compatible with the Xbox, obviously, to play between your friends on console and people who want to play it on the PC, which is good. So they have said that to get Halo Reach, it's going to be purchasable for the actual story, like the campaign, but the multiplayer will be available for everyone who obviously has the game already. So they seem to split it up a little bit. I know we got obviously the main games, and then we got ODST with it beforehand. So it will be interesting to go back to that one, because I definitely enjoyed Reach. That's probably one of the most I played most of online.
Yeah, so they've made the multiplayer free for it, which is obviously to draw people in. The campaigns, like you say, it's you purchase it, which is fine. But isn't everybody there for the multiplayer anyway?
Well, Reach did have a very good story. I did enjoy Reach. The fact you had to play different Spartans, everyone was slightly different. It was different to the original Halos that we'd had before, which was nice. But for me, Halo Reach is more about, and it was the introduction of the firefight as well, which we hadn't had before.
Yeah,
where you basically just fight hordes and hordes of enemies with your mates on your own, which was awesome, because we haven't had something like that before. So it really helped with the multiplayer aspect and sort of a different type of co-op that wasn't just doing the main story, which would be interesting to see if the firefight is inclusive of the multiplayer aspect or with the campaign.
Yeah. Does Reach, I'm guessing that must mean that Reach on Xbox 360, would the server still be up for that? Or they're not? They probably wouldn't go across, would they?
I don't know, in all honesty.
No, I don't. I think they've probably got like their own sort of servers up and running just for the exclusivity of obviously it being re-released on the Master Chief Collection. So with the multiplayer being free and the campaign being something that you pay for, are you going to go back and get the campaign?
I am going to, yes.
Yeah.
I can't not.
Yeah.
I want to go back to. I haven't played it since it came out. So the change of the console, I haven't fired up my 360 in absolutely years.
Yeah. No, you don't need to.
No, I don't need to. Exactly. I can go back and do all the Halos again. It might be another time for another marathon and go through all of them.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you always forget how much longer they are. Than even running through on normal difficulty or baby difficulty. What's the simple version called?
Easy, normal, heroic, legendary.
Baby, easy.
Baby level.
You get them confused quite easily. Even doing that, they're still quite hefty long games. I played through all of them about a year ago, and I do enjoy them. I think they're great. I think they're great games. I might have to get back into Master Chief Collection for Reach, because I never really got a proper feel for Reach, which is a shame, because I do know that it had nothing but good praises, and like this coming back is Xbox just making another move in the right direction, which is really good. However, not making a move in the right direction is Xbox Live. Luke, talk us through it.
Oh, I woke up to a lovely message this morning. I was just like, thanks very much for that. So yes, as many of your Xbox users are probably already aware and received a similar message, the cost is going up. The monthly one, is it, or 3 monthly one?
Yep. So
is going up, and for the year subscription.
Yeah. So essentially, there's a 25% increase. So if originally Xbox Live was £40 a month, and is now going up to £49 or £50 a month.
Yeah, $39.99 to $49.99 for argument's sake.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a step in the direction that you probably would expect. I mean, PlayStation made this move, coming back to probably about 9 months ago, I would have thought now. 8-9 months ago, and it's not the end of the world. It's like you don't generally see where your money goes in that respect. It doesn't seem to really affect much. It's just another extra cost for you.
Yeah, people will still pay it. They'll gripe first of all, but then it'll just become another expense that you just...
Yeah. Unfortunately, these things and servers and everything like that become more and more expensive to run, so you can't really blame them for it. It would be nice if they did something like, oh, we apologise, unfortunately our prices are going up.
They didn't give an explanation, no.
Yeah, here's a free game or something like that. Just an extra free game on Gold. I mean, on Gold, like we discussed last week, there is Battlefront 2, the Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one. So that's sort of like, they probably released that to ease your pain into telling you this.
I reckon so, maybe, yeah, because they definitely won me over that one. But when you think about it, the games you get each month, if you were to get them and play them, that alone you're paying for with the subscription anyway. Then whatever you play then online, whatever games you already have, then it's really no cost over the course of the year when you break it down then monthly, then potentially daily, weekly, whatever it's how often you use it. It's almost an essential for a lot of gamers these days. So it'll be a sting at first for a few people, I'd imagine, who have been so used to it being £40. It's been £40 since I've had it on the Xbox 360 when I first got live. So they've had it at that price for a long time. So kudos for them for that. But
it's just one of those things. I think
cost of living goes up. So
yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things. It is disheartening to see prices rise, but unfortunately, they do have to happen at some point. I mean, now that they've done it now, you could probably guarantee that it won't be going up again until the Xbox. I don't know. Do we call it the Xbox 3 or
Xbox
4?
2X.
The 2X. So you go like probably in about. It won't go up for like another 15 years. You wouldn't have thought it could. This again. It might be one of those things where it might be down to. It might be down to a number of things, but it's one of those things. It's just unfortunate, but these sorts of things happen, and there's nothing really that you can do
it's
about
definitely
it.
Worth it.
It's still worth, still worth the investment, especially when you're getting all of the free games and everything. But it's just one of those things just to keep you aware of if you weren't already. Right, so I think that's about it today. A lot shorter podcast rather than the week before. A good hour and a half shorter.
There was a lot to go through last week.
So thankfully there was no directs this week. So that's pretty much it. So to exit on that, the Xbox Live has got a 25% increase. It's now quarterly. It's gone from £15 to £18, and yearly from £40 to £50. Anything else you want to add to that at all?
Battlefront 2 was awesome. It was a nostalgia trip I was needing for this month.
Yeah, it's a lot shorter of a game than you remember.
Oh, I got through half it and I was like, no. Either I must have been really sucky at it when I first did it. I had to do a lot of missions again, which really dragged it out. But I did breeze through a lot of it. I was like, oh god, maybe I should play on a higher difficulty.
Yeah.
But it was a good nostalgia trip. It's actually held, in terms of quality and graphics, it's held up quite well considering it's on the original Xbox.
Yeah, it looks it looks okay, and it has got your first person shooter and everything like that.
It's a bit janky in first person. You do feel a bit like your arms 3 feet further in front of you than what they should be, but obviously you get to play as Darth Vader again, so
there's nothing to be snuffed at.
No.
All right, so thank you very much for listening. This was installment 3 of the Charge Attack podcast. Stay tuned in future.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Bye.